Welcome to the next episode of Manrina's Mentorship Podcast. I'm really excited to have Dr Pavi Sagu here with me today, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your journey.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. We have lovely blue skies. You brought the sun with you, Pavi.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I did.
I think you bring it with you wherever you go. You're that type of person.
Oh, thank you.
Do people say that about you a lot in life?
Yeah, they do actually.
You spread joy.
Yeah, I like to. I think it's important to be positive in life. Otherwise, everything just makes everything's harder in life if you're not positive, I think.
You could really come across as that, to be honest. In the years that I've known you, I feel like you really come across as a very strong, positive woman. And so, that's definitely been my experience of you. So I'm not surprised that other people find the same way. Nice for your kids to have a mum like that. How many kids do you have?
Two boys.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. How old are they?
The older one will be 17 in June.
Oh.
The younger one is 15.
Oh, yeah, okay. So teenage years.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
Tricky, yeah. I think really tricky when they were really little.
Yeah.
Because I had them so close together. They were 18 months apart.
Oh, lovely.
So it was like having twins.
Yeah.
And so bringing them up was, really hard work because my parents lived in Kenya back then.
Oh.
They live here now, but so I didn't have any help with childcare. And my mother-in-law lives in Nottingham.
Oh.
So I was kind of like, it was just me and my husband, juggling between the two of them and work.
I feel like I need to jump. I wanted to go in order of your life, but I feel like I want to jump there. But okay, let me step back and let's go back to baby Pavi.
Oh.
Why dentistry?
So I was born in Kenya, little town in Kisumu.
Oh, wow.
I'm one of three, so I'm the middle one. I've got a sister and a younger brother, and I just knew from a really young age that I wanted to become a dentist. I used to go to the dentist with my sister, loads, because she had braces.
Yeah.
So my mum would drop us off. It was one of those places, not like here where parent has to go. It would just be like, out you go, off you go, it's family dentist, we know him, sort of thing. And I just used to be fascinated by what he was doing. And it was like old-fashioned dentistry. He had to pump the chair and get it up with his foot and stuff. So it was really, really different from what dentistry is like now.
Yeah.
But he had a little lab in the side, and he used to make dentures, and he used to make his own removable appliances. And just going there just used to be, I used to love sort of fiddling with things. So I knew from I think when I was about 8 or 9 that this is what I want to do.
That's such an unusual story for a dentist to have known from a young age. It's not normally something that children kind of grow up with. So that's amazing. You're definitely in the right profession then.
Yeah, no regrets.
Yeah, it was in your essence, right?
Yeah.
And dentistry in Kenya is interesting. And dentistry in Kenya back then, in the 70s, that's interesting.
No gloves, no mask. It was really, completely, as I say, it's a complete revelation now. We work so differently.
But was there all hygiene education back then? Was there brushing and flossing and regular dental checkups in Kenya?
No, not really. It was very much kind of just fill or extract. That was a kind of dentistry then. But I still just found, because I suppose with my sister, she was having braces, and it was just so cool. It was a removable appliance, so it wasn't even like the fixed braces, but still, it just fascinated me.
But that's good. There was braces.
That was exactly. Which is
How did that come about? Do you think the dentist mentioned it? Do you think your sister wanted to straighten her teeth?
So he mentioned it. She was only about 11, so I think her teeth they still are crowded actually, a little bit, but she's happy with them. So, but they were really crowded. So he was like, okay, we need to do something about her teeth. So that's kind of where it started.
Wow. So then did you then come to England? Did you do your dental education in Kenya?
No. So then obviously I went off to boarding school at the age of 10, because the town that we lived in it's literally like a little village, so the schools weren't that great. So we had to go to a better school, which meant we had to go to boarding school.
Wow.
So that in itself was really, really, it was really nice. I think it taught me to be really independent, which really helped when I came to university. I went to University of Wales College of Medicine.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Which was amazing. So when I moved, so obviously moving from Kenya to the UK, again, just by myself. My sister was in London. She was at university in London. So it was just the two of us here.
So were the three of you at boarding school together?
No, just myself and my sister.
Oh wow! But at the same boarding school.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's nice.
Yeah,
at
so it was
least.
nice.
Yeah.
We had each other.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Wow,
So,
from the age of 10. And so would you go home at weekends?
No, we'd go home at half terms and in the holidays, so like every 6 weeks.
Wow.
Because it was quite a way away from home.
Yeah.
But I think it's the best thing that, it was really hard for my parents, I'm sure, because, they're two girls, send them away. And it wasn't something that, families did back then.
No, but they were forward thinking.
But probably the best thing my parents did for us.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Because I would hate, I just can't imagine where I would be I think if I hadn't gone through that process, I probably would have had a very different life.
Yeah.
It was so I was at boarding school until I did my O levels. It was O levels back then.
How far was the boarding school from where your parents lived?
So we had to go on a plane flight, so it was like an hour's flight.
Wow.
That's mad. Or a 6-hour drive.
From the age of 10.
Yeah. I hated it to begin with because I just thought, I used to be so homesick for the first year. I really used to hate it, but then you get used to it, and we make friends, and it was great. As I say, we got really independent. We had to follow a routine, be up at a certain time, do our homework.
Was it a girls' school?
It was a mixed school.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. That's really cool. I'm like trying to take all that in. Like, okay. So then you knew you wanted to be a dentist. So when did you know you wanted to do dentistry in England? Was it because your sister was already here, or how did that come about?
So kind of that dentistry kind of just stayed with me right through. I did my O levels, and then school that I was at, they didn't have a facility to have A levels. So I was homeschooled for my A levels.
Wow.
Which was really, really difficult for me as well, because I will all of a sudden, from being, in a class of like 20 students, I was all by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have a benchmark. I had no one to compete against. And when I was at school, I was always competing. There was 3 or 4 of us, and we always wanted to be first in the class. So it was fun, because we would be literally at the end of the term, we were like, what did you get? What did you get? And, it would be a case of, right, who's going to be first in the class this year? So when I was doing my A levels, I was kind of quite isolated, and I found that really, really, really difficult. But just persevered, carried on. I did maths, biology, and chemistry because I knew that I wanted to do dentistry.
And that's what you do. Maths, chemistry, biology. We all did it.
And I was kind of, I thought, well, even if I change my mind, I can still go into something else. But even at that stage, I still was like, hell bent on wanting to do dentistry. My sister was studying pharmacy at King's.
Oh, it's like me and my sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pharmacist, dentist. Yeah.
So we've got similarity there.
Yes. And the Kenya connection. My parents were born there.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Whereabouts in Kenya?
Nairobi and Mombasa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever been?
No, I would love to go.
We must go. Have they got family there still?
No, everyone left. Yeah. And we also, my dad was in boarding school in England.
Okay.
And my mom came here for university. So similar stories, but in their generation rather than our generation.
Yeah.
Because then obviously we were born here. But anyway, this is not about me.
Fine.
So you came. So then you knew you wanted to do dentistry, and you were applying to dental schools.
Yeah. So applied from Kenya, and
you just knew you wanted to come here. Or did someone say?
Well, because my sister was already here.
Yeah.
We have some family here, so it kind of just made sense for my parents. They were sending us a long way away, and they didn't want to send us abroad. I think for further education, Kenya wasn't the best place anyway.
Yeah.
So it was a case of go to England because we've got family here. Yeah. So if you ever need anyone, then at least someone's there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we applied. We came to the UK. And that was it. Then I came to Cardiff.
Yeah.
5 years of dentistry.
So as an international student, so even that was a big expense for your parents to educate you. They've really invested in your education with boarding school and then international degree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to work hard and I had to make sure
that it was worth it.
Yeah.
How was that? So how was that coming at 18 to Cardiff from Kenya by yourself?
I think because I'd already lived away from home, I was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like the cold.
No.
That was probably the only thing that I really didn't like.
Yeah.
And the dark and the short days, that probably I struggled with the most. But I think being away from home was something that I was quite used to already. And I knew it was for a longer period, it was for like a whole year, and I wouldn't go home until the summer.
Yeah.
But it was okay. My sister was here, so if I did need to kind of come and see her, but I didn't really, I was so busy, made friends, everyone was lovely. Yeah. And it was easy for me to mix mix with people. And again, I think just being so independent, I was able to just sort of get on with it. Really, so it was okay. Yeah.
And then when did you meet your husband? Was it at dental school or after that?
No, we didn't meet until after I started working. Actually, we met through mutual friends. When did we meet? My goodness. 2002. So I qualified in 2000, started working. Then we got married in 2004. And then the boys came along soon after. And then, life just sort of, has just happened, and just 20 years have gone by, and I'm just looking back thinking, okay, we've got these two lovely boys.
Yeah.
They're lovely. But I just got to a point. So I kind of started working. So I finished university.
Did you enjoy university?
To move. Yeah, I loved it. But I wanted to move to London because my sister was in London.
Yes.
A lot of my friends have stayed back in Cardiff.
Yeah.
So I moved. So obviously qualifying as an overseas dentist, you can't do VT. Or I don't know if you can now actually, but back then you couldn't do VT. So your option was either to go into community or go into hospital job, or
private.
Work as an assistant, or go private, which the thought never even crossed my mind at that point. I mean, I don't think university preps you for that at all. I think I would have been out of my depth if I had, or I don't know. I'll never know. But you could work as an assistant, which I think it was basically working under a principal's performer number. And then after a certain number of years, you then could get your own number. But then the contract changed and what have you. So, it all kind of was insignificant. So I got a job in Farnborough, which was like an hour and a half, in Kent. So I was living in Harrow, and I used to travel every day an hour and a half each way. So it was really tricky. And then I'd go in and, we had maybe 2 or 3 patients booked in.
Were you in Harrow because your sister was there, or did you have family?
My parents had bought a house there.
Oh, lovely.
Because we have family close by.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll live at home, seeing as the house is here now, and see how the travel goes.
Yeah.
And then if it's too much, we'll just see. But the job just didn't work out because it just wasn't for me. Luckily, I found something closer to Harrow. And then just started working there. And then, as I said, it's a predominantly NHS practice. And I feel now, not having had the opportunity to do VT, because I obviously then realized with my colleagues all the opportunities that they had, having gone through VT, the mentorship that they get, the leadership that they get through their mentors. I never had that. So I was kind of like, just get on with it, and make your own decisions, which it probably wasn't a bad thing, but I would have liked to. I think I would have probably taken a different path earlier on in my career.
Yeah.
Then I really got into. I used to love oral surgery. I still like oral surgery. I did an implant course.
Yeah.
And never did anything with it because the practice I was at just didn't have the infrastructure for it. Didn't have the nurses for it, and like your lovely mentorship program, that, where I did my implant course, there was nothing like that. So I was almost like really petrified to even start a case, because I just thought, well, after 1 week of learning how to put an implant in, I just wouldn't be able to do it by myself. So, so we kind of, that just sort of, sat on the back burner. Then I got married, and then the kids came, and then I just sort of, that was my focus, was them. And then
so you did that implant course that long ago? 20 years ago?
Literally the year after I qualified, so really soon after.
Yeah, so I think you would have been right at the forefront of it.
Yeah, so I was a bit like, oh, okay. Yeah. But it was good. I did it with Eddie Sher, and it was a really good course. And maybe I will revisit, actually. I think now maybe it's time to revisit, because I think now I feel confident I could do. Yeah. And then, then just when COVID happened, I just reevaluated. I just thought, I just can't carry on doing what I'm doing for the next 20 years. I just need to do something different. Still in dentistry, but
so
just
you'd been a dentist for like 15 years or longer by then?
Yeah.
Yeah, you graduated in 2000, so 20 years.
Yeah, so the boys were older, they didn't need me that much.
So you were still working in NHS, doing some private work, that sort of clinic, general dentistry, but some cosmetic dentistry as well. Is that where you were kind of in 2020? Yeah. And then thought, right, it's time for a change.
So pre-COVID, I got into orthodontics and started doing braces and aligners. And then COVID happened, And then I discovered you on Instagram.
Is that when you found me during COVID?
Yeah, I think you were doing a live.
I did so many lives.
Yeah,
I used to do 4 a week.
That's how I found you. And I was like, oh my God, you know, she just sounds so inspirational. I want to know more about her.
Thank you.
And started researching a bit more. Then obviously I came to your course.
Yes. So
in
Designing
2022.
Smiles. Yeah. So that launched in 2020. So
Yeah.
So
I think it was you were kind of launching it then, and then I was just so interested. So I kept, you know, I obviously kept an eye out, and then obviously as soon as I saw there was space and the dates fitted
because
me,
I launched it in
I'm going to
2020,
this.
and as soon as I launched it, the next year sold out. And I think
That's
it's
what
because
happened.
everyone was at home because of COVID, and they were
Yeah.
all like, veneers, you know, everyone's reevaluating what they want to do with their life. Like, oh, I really want to learn veneers. I launched the course, and I was like, whoa, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then you came when the next space was available, and we loved having you there.
Yeah.
And then how did that change things for you, learning veneers, that veneer process on that course? How much of it did you know beforehand? How did it change the way that you practice?
So coming to your course was, you know, obviously I would never really do veneers. I was so not confident to do them really. It would just be I'll do some composite bonding, maybe veneers. Again, you know, it's just the whole protocol, how you cement them, doing the design, smile design and everything. It was such an amazing course. So I took away so much from that, and just also being able to reach out to you if I needed some advice, needed some help. You were always there for me, and that was in itself just such an encouragement for me to say, right, you know, get on with it and let's just start some cases.
Yeah.
So I think I was kind of in the middle of one when I came to your course, so that turned out really well. I've done a few after that. I'd like to do more, obviously. I think maybe the practice that I'm at, you know, I just need to just figure out how I can get more of these, you know, these patients in.
Yeah.
And that's probably where my next project is moving forward. I want to obviously try and build a bit more of that. Yeah.
Look, and is it that you don't have time in your diary for these cases because you're busy with general dentistry, or is it that you think you don't get time to talk to the patients about their cosmetic dental options? Like, what do you think's limiting you?
It probably is the time.
Yeah.
You know, we'll start talking about things, or we'll give out them forms at the start of the appointment. But then a lot of the time, you know, it's really rushed because they're in for 15 minutes. We've got to do a quick checkup, and, you know, and sort of, you know, X-rays, anything like that. Talk to them about, you know, what they've answered on the form. A lot of them are interested, but then trying to just sort of get them. I feel if I'm rushing, obviously, then they're, you know, I'm not going to grab them because they feel I'm rushing them as well. So I think that in itself is a challenge.
Yeah.
So trying to find ways of changing how I can do that, and watching the zoning of the diaries on Wednesday. It was really, really interesting.
We had these lives twice a month, and the last live was about diary zoning with Laura Horton. So that's what Pavi's referring to there. And with the smile form, we have like a smile form that we suggest that all the mentees give out to their general patients before they come in for an examination, so that they can see if their patients are interested in cosmetic treatment. So you don't necessarily need to ask. They've already ticked whether they're worried about their teeth being crooked, they want to change the colour of their teeth, they want to change these things. And so you kind of, before, you know, you can quickly see whether they're a good candidate for cosmetic dentistry. So we were just talking about those things. I thought I'll just explain.
What are you talking about?
So I think with that, it needs to be that if they tick things on the form, you do your general checkup, and then you say to them, listen, you've shown interest, I can help you with these things. Can we book you in for one more consultation so that we can talk about your cosmetic options in more detail? Do you think that would work? Like then taking them to reception to book another appointment for that bit?
Yeah, I think so, and we've managed to book quite a few that way. So it's been really good. You know, a couple of my nurses, they've been really good in that. You know, I've had a chat with them and say, look, this is the strategy moving forward. So they've been really, really receptive as well, and you know, giving the forms out, trying to open conversations with patients. So I'm trying to get the rest of the team on board as well. And I think slowly they're understanding, and I think that in itself can be really challenging when you're so, as a team, you're so used to doing things one way, and then all of a sudden you have to start making changes. I think it's quite important for them to now realize why we need to make these changes. So hopefully I'll get them all on board, you know, and we, you know, and it is important. I think if there's no teamwork, then, you know, you can't really, you know, it's really hard to grow.
I was talking to one of our mentees this week, and she was saying about how her principal is blocking her from being able to move ahead with these protocols that I'm teaching you on the mentorship. I said, no one's going to go ahead with a cosmetic treatment plan because you quickly said to them in a 15-minute consultation, oh yeah, we can do 4 veneers and that's going to cost £5,000 or whatever. Yeah. That's not. No one's going to be like, oh, okay, that's great. For patients to just go ahead with something like that without you giving them more time
Absolutely.
with it. Either you've had to have spent the last 20 years or at least 5 years building up your online reputation, which I'm also working with you guys on the mentorship, and we're going to come to that with you, so that they know what they're coming in for, and so you should start that process because it takes a few years before they start coming. I had 2 patients this week who I've done their veneers on who came in, and they didn't want to know price, they didn't want to know anything. They knew they wanted their veneers, they knew they wanted it with me, and whatever it was, and that's only because there's 20 years of content of me online that you get to that stage that happens. Otherwise, it takes so much more nurturing than that. And this mentee was saying that her practice wasn't supporting her, because I was saying, you need to mention that this is the treatment, you need to give them the time for it, so book another consultation. You need to take your photos, you need to scan them, show them the mouth. If you've got an iTero, show them the Invisalign outcome simulator immediately, so that they can see what that is. Say there's free clean checks, would you like me to send a clean check off, and you can see what your Invisalign could do for you. Make them a Loom video after they've left that evening, put the photos up, put the scan up, explain in detail what it was that you briefly told them, so they've got a copy of it. Write them an email, or we've been talking about these treatment plan presentations that Nicole and I are creating a new version of, that we're going to go through with you. I'll send them either just an email for now, clearly outlining, using not dental jargon, but using words they understand, of their treatment options. So all these things that go into converting a cosmetic case, because it's no one's parting with that sort of money without there being so much more behind it, either beforehand, the reputation you've built, or afterwards the effort you've made with the scan and the photos and the Loom video and the treatment plan that you've sent out with them. But then she was saying about how unsupportive her principal is with it, that he won't give her own email address, everything has to go through the clinic, so she doesn't know if they've replied. He doesn't want them messaging anyone. I was like, you could get your own business line and WhatsApp them information, and because he doesn't want to hire a TCO, so that she doesn't have a TCO to follow up for her. And there's all these things, and I was like, but why is he blocking you? You're only going to make him more money by doing these great cases, and it's a better use of your time. But it's very interesting that dynamic that seems to be going on in some clinics, that almost I need to have a meeting with principals and just say to them, like, do you understand that it's the opposite here at DRMR? And how beneficial it is for you to support your associates in doing these cases, because it's only good for everyone. So but I think it's the change that, and I'm not saying that this is the case in your clinic, because I don't know what's happening in your clinic, but just as an example of what's happening here, it's a mindset change. People are scared of change.
Yeah, it is, definitely. I mean, my principal, I've got to say, he's really good. He's never stopped me from sort of doing anything I want to do.
All your great ideas.
He is really good. He doesn't pay for them.
No. Okay.
Because I think when I first approached him, I said, look, I want to start offering braces, and I want to start offering orthodontic treatment, and this is what the cost is going to involve. And he said, look, I can't see it happening in this practice because of the location and the type of practice that we are. So you're on your own. If you want to go ahead, go for it. So I proved him wrong.
Yes.
And he's really happy and proud of me, and he supports me 100% now, in the sense that he's like, fine, just do what you want to do. But I kind of pay for everything. I set up, so and that's what I thought. Well, I'm just going to market myself now, because
that's what associates need to do. It's your own little business.
So I set up.
And also, you start off paying for things, but then the principal should then jump in after a while, and once you've proven them wrong, and say, okay, now I'll 50-50 it with you, because now I can see it worked. But sorry.
That hasn't happened.
No, but maybe it's a conversation.
It should be. But
if not, at least you're running your business the way you want to run it.
I do what I want to do.
And you're doing the treatments you want to do.
And it's nice. I kind of just, I see the patients I want to see. I still have to fulfill part of my NHS contract, but, I do a lot less NHS work now. And again, he hasn't said to me, well, you should be doing more NHS work, you should be working more hours. I'm not happy about this. So, so I've been lucky in that respect. So I set up my own brand, as I said, Clear Aligners Harrow, and so I had my own website, and I market myself. I've got my own marketing company that sort of I work with, and he's like literally my PA now. Adam is. He does all my ads, and he does all my social media, and he does everything for me. So he's great. So
that's
I find that I work with him really well.
As an associate, you still need a PA. I had one when I was, and I think that's the thing. And I think the other thing is that what principals don't understand is 85% of the population want to improve their smile. So anyone who's out there saying our patients don't want that, they're like, yes, they do want that. They just don't come to you for it because you're not offering it. They come to me for it because they still want it. So you're absolutely right. That was great. That's a great story that you proved him wrong. So let's talk about. So then you joined our mentorship when it launched last year, and you're my star. Sorry guys, she's my star mentee, because you take everything that we bring to you and you take it on board and you put it into practice, and it's really working for you. And also, I love you as a case study to show how that's working. Like your last that TikTok went viral, didn't it?
4.6 million views it is at the moment.
Wow.
It's still going. It's still crazy. So I was saying to the girls when I came in, I said it's like Christmas every morning. I can just about open my eyes, but I'm on my phone.
That's amazing. It's so fun.
People make comments, mostly positive. Some are negative, but you got to take it with a pinch of salt.
That's the thing with social media.
It's been really, really good.
And it just keeps going and going. With viral reels.
Yeah. So it's definitely given me the encouragement to keep going, keep pushing forward. And thank you, because you've kind of really pushed us all.
I love watching your journey, like from the beginning, like your first videos where you're a bit like, oh yeah, we're gonna, and now you're just like, hi, it's Pavi. It's so confident. It's been such a beautiful journey, and I think I said to the mentorship last week that I love that every time I log on to Instagram or LinkedIn, you're there, and I love it. This is frigging awesome. If I'm seeing it, other people are seeing it, and why wouldn't you be showcasing yourself to the world like that? It's free. Well, fine, you're paying a marketing person to help you out with it, but by going through the techniques that we've said, and showing you how to create content, how to put it on multiple platforms, you're getting yourself out there, and you're attracting your ideal client, so that it does get to that stage that the patients are looking for you, and they come to you, and then whatever you are charging or whatever it is, that they don't mind, because they know that you're the right person for them. Your social media is selling your personal brand for you, and that's what you want to achieve. How have you found the mentorship? Like I said, you've been with me since the beginning. In what way do you think it benefits you?
So definitely, obviously growing my online presence, because I would never have, I never ever did. It just was something that I just was really shy, I think, or didn't know how to even start, to be honest. So that's really been great. It's given me that confidence.
You're amazing.
Everyone at work has been really positive towards it, and I think they've changed their attitude towards me as well, which is really nice, and that's why I feel positive about changing their mindset as well.
By the way, it's always like that with social media. Like when I started back in the day in 2011, the amount of dentists who were like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I saw that, why would you post that? And I'm like, I enjoy it. Like, and now within 5 years, they were all coming to me and saying, how do you do it? Can you teach me how to do it? And it's exactly that they don't love it until they see how great it is, and then they want to know how.
No, it is. It's great, and just obviously, getting to meet, chat with you guys every 2 weeks. Speaking to dentists that are very like-minded and have lots of great ideas. It's just like a learning curve. I think you keep learning more and more and more. There's just always something that you don't know.
Just keep going.
And that's what I love about it, really.
I think what's important with it is that you don't need to take it all on board. I think it could feel overwhelming if you were like, oh, now I need to do this. But you the good thing is it's not in order. It's just lots of things. So if you jump in and you want to grab that bit, then that's great. And if not, then it'll come back. It'll come up later again, and we can grab it again. So rather than being like a year-long course where you have to go through every module, it's a continual thing where you're continually supported, continually growing. We're moving with the current times and what's happening right now, and making sure that you're all presenting yourself as the very best, and enjoying your professional life.
No, I definitely am. It's been great, and I would recommend it to anyone if they haven't been on Designing Smiles, or if they haven't been on your mentorship. Even if it's just to meet you, you're such a lovely person.
Thank you.
You got to do it. You really do. Thank you.
I think on that really nice note of you saying lovely things about me, come to the end of this podcast. I really enjoyed that. That flew by.
It did.
Didn't it? I was like,
talk too much.
No, I love that. There was like so much more. I was like, I want to know about this and then this and yeah, that's awesome. Do you have one piece of advice that you could share for our listeners before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think you've just got to follow your dreams, believe in yourself, and just go for it. Don't be scared. Whatever happens at the end of the day, even if you fail, you just get up and keep going, and that's just the best thing in life.
Yeah, that's really strong and really good advice. Yeah, thank you so much, Pavi.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.